All right. What's good? It's Daryl F. And as the title tells you, I am letting you know that I am fasting. I decided to start a fast yesterday. So yesterday I woke up and I was feeling amazing yesterday when I woke up. And I said to myself, the only thing that could ruin this feeling is eating. Because I had kind of semi starved myself. I showed some restraint. I was intermittent fasting yesterday, effectively. I think I actually had three. Did I have three full meals and a little snacking? Yes, yeah, I did. But also there was a point where I stopped eating before bed and all that. So like it ultimately starts the night before you start, because there's your last meal of the day before, then you go to bed and you start fasting the next day, but you've actually started fasting theoretically already because that was the last time you ate. Um, but it's when you wake up, right? It's when the hunger comes on and you choose not to, and you completely skip. That's when it's an intermittent fast. And then if you go a whole day, I'd say you've actually started to fast. But your fast doesn't count until you've gone at least two full days, because you need to have ketone activation, right? So by the end of today, my body will end up going into ketone activation, which is the physiological point of fasting, is to activate the ketones, which have all sorts of transmutational beneficial health effects to the body. And then you keep that up for a little bit, right? I don't know if I'm going to go beyond 3 days. I just know I'm going to do at least 3 days, because fasting's a waste of time if you don't. So 3 days on just water. Just water. And I don't think you can consider what you smoke a break of fast. So, I got my herb, and I got my water. And I got my discipline. Discipline, you must have discipline to fast. Anyway, so it's something that you can't do when you're working, right? I mean, if you're working in physical work, I work in physical work. This is I'm taking advantage of several aspects of things. It's the slump, because I refused to shave, and it wasn't going to be safe for me to continue on the only job site that was available where I'm at. So I took the hit, because I don't like fascism, even if it's reasonable, because I will not be groomed except by myself. And so there's this lull period I'm in, which also it's an excuse to also not buy food, right? Like, y'all worried about fucking starving in the with Snap, and it's just like, you don't need to spend any money to teach yourself how to fast. And you don't just fast as a starvation communist coping mechanism. Because certainly that was not going to be the effect on me by any stretch of the imago. But you probably wouldn't start flailing about and frothing at the mouth at the threat of it, right? People like to reduce themselves to animals or panic because you are about to reveal that I will reduce myself to an animal. And that is why we starve. Because reducing yourself to an animal does not convince people to feed you. If you're a hungry, barking dog, they'll just let you fucking starve if they don't like you. They don't like your tone, and of course they don't have the ability to feed you. Yes, it's their responsibility, but they're having trouble with that responsibility. You think it's greed? It's not. It's not really greed in this case. Greed is when they hit their agreement to rob you. If it's in the process of a disagreement, right? Republicans don't care that it fucks people over because Republicans are very interested in you being an autonomous person, because they would like Americans to have autonomy and personal power and things like that. Like, as far as a disposition is concerned, they want to have the system that yokes you, but they're counting on they're counting on your agreement to that. I'm just talking about as far as the alleged kind of people they want American character to be. I'm much more interested in the American character that a certain kind of quote Republican wants than the kind of character quote Democrat wants. And that's just talking about character, right? Because we're talking about how these parties as movements cultivate, right? How they culture the country. We've been living in an economic modality for so long that you don't think about when it's going to end every day, even though you kind of think it's going to end one day, right? Because the entirety of the conversation is along these unsustainability lines, which many people think the unsustainability is just a Republican hoax for greed. Right? When the original conversation was, no, it's just the Keynesian economics. But ultimately, it's the perpetuation of the welfare state. And the welfare state's the only thing making these people happy. Right? It's basically the idea. It's not just that it's not just that the state is making sure there's some sort of arrangement that you have food, shelter, and utilities, and clean clothing and grooming equipment, all the basics you need to show up for work. But now it's just like, you gotta have a cell phone. You got to pay the cell phone bill, and you've got to have, you've got to have exactly how many pairs of clothing that you need, and it's just like, I'm not saying you don't need that clothing, but that's the point, is that your needs are never going to be just satisfied because you're going to sit there and you're still going to feel like shit with the ability to just exist every day, and you're not making any sacrifices to be a more valuable person. And you act like that's some sort of cold-hearted, inhuman capitalist thing. It's just like, it's just nature. It's just facts of reality. It's just that you're going to rob somebody. That's all it is that you're going to rob somebody, and that you're right to rob them because you have less than them. And because there is no God, I can make up that rule. Effectively. Right? And all that because you have blamed that person on an existential level for your lack. Right? Everybody has an existential hatred of Trump because Trump is the representative quantum base level bourgeoisie stereotype. Right? This is why he's the robber baron type. And why they've made all of that this. And so there's all sorts of precedent of history before the 19th century of this kind of thing, where you actually want the economic, you want there to be, it's not that you want there to be a wage gap, like one guy makes so much and one guy makes so much. That's not the point. That's just, like, people are blaming the byproduct of a thing. I read the Communist Manifesto, and they're, and like they may have abandoned exactly the way Marx thinks it ought to be, but they ain't abandoned exactly the attitude Marx fucking had. It's all fucking Marxist attitude, so don't fucking lie to me with your bullshit. All you want to do is tear down everything. It's just like I don't like corporations, the big investment, liability problems, things like that. But if you can be a big business without it, grow, be a bigger business, be able to hire people or whatever. It's not the money that's giving you the quote power, where you're lobbying somebody to fuck somebody over. It's not the fucking money that you have. Once again, the money is a fucking byproduct. You have to ask yourself why money can buy those things. And you're going to have to deal with the fact that, just like every other communist revolution, you're going to still have this fucking problem, because I guarantee you're still going to have currency because you don't know how to function otherwise. You're going to fucking collapse the system and says, that's great. Now, when do I get my fair wage? It's just like, well, there won't be wages. You're just going to have a house. You're just going to have a thing. You're just going to have it. It'll be a provision of the state that you are entitled to as a member of the union. That's the magical imaginary sales pitch that will never happen except for the party elites who need it as a function of government, which is no different than any of the congressmen that are there now expanding their fucking self-worth in office. Which was a point that was made on all sorts of people like Ilhan Omar and AOC and whatnot, as finally they've been in Congress long enough to lose their credibility as being just like you. Because if you want to just quantify it communistically to, well, that person's got more money than me, all these people need to take their net worth and turn it into money in the community, because those people don't care what your net worth is. All they know is that your net worth means that you have access to resources and capital. That needs to turn into money for me because I want you to pay all of my bills for my lifestyle, because there is no job for me. instead of fighting harder for conditions that would make there be jobs for you. Because you act like communism means there won't be jobs. Or no. There magically will be jobs, and you magically won't have a problem with the fact that there are jobs anymore. Right? Like I revealed when I was talking about communism, when I was researching the state of Cuba. Not the state, like the literal, like what is the state, like the economic state of Cuba. And they read at a 7th grade reading level, and they work about 44 hours a week. And they worked 48 hours a week under colonialism. All that bloodshed for 4 hours and a worse comprehension of the Spanish language. And they expect us to have full confidence in a system that won't let anybody grow to be exceptional and create value through the market with innovations in useful, valuable goods. Not to mention the market force behind the product of your culture, which would be your arts, as well as the aesthetic that goes into things you produce. It's not just a toothbrush. Look, see how it curves? Like, that's the Cuban toothbrush, right? And it's got a whole fucking thing, and it's the Cuban toothbrush. It's not just a toothbrush made in Cuba, right? And then all of a sudden, just that's why, you can get a fucking cigar grown and rolled, packaged and produced in America. Why do you get a Cuban cigar? Right? And that's one of the few things the corporation of Cuba has done. It makes the cigars and whatnot. And at the end of the day, that's just a jobs program, because you can only export poison for so long. It's just like, you need people to have a bad fucking habit just for your fucking economy to stay afloat. I have to be interested in a big fat mouth cancer stick in order for you to be happy. Right? This is the failure. Right? Because, the corporate board of your union doesn't understand the market, doesn't know how to fucking get the right fucking production out of your fucking country to solve these problems, to increase your national wealth, because at that point, that's all you're doing, right? It's just like everything is the money of the country that allegedly no human being controls, even though the human beings that control the country, which is not you, but the people that were former bourgeoisie that then just simply fucking convinced you that they were going to be communists, which is why you're not actually communist, you're actually socialist. But I think you're starting to get the grift after thus amount of time. Am I in the wrong? Oh, I'm in the wrong. Oh, yeah. That's right. I can pull right out, though. So anyway, having the ability to live and work through your day, having not eaten is a special kind of thing. It's a it's something valuable because it ends up reading on you in by other people in how you handle yourself in certain situations like this. That's also part of it. Because, you know, hunger is going to fucking get you really, really... You're really going to be in a bewildered spot. You're going to be angry. Your anger is going to burn a lot of calories. Just the internal irritation, as that internal tension is there, and it's also... That tension is also you literally holding on to your energy because you subconsciously know that if the next meal is not coming, you're going to get weaker, right? Right, and like, so your mind starts to panic over feelings of hunger and everything else, and like your body, the body mind will really dig into encouraging you to eat, right? This is when you're beyond temptation. It's because it's one thing to be tempted by treats, right? It's one thing to be technically full, and then you just see something delicious that you just want to have a bite of or whatever, and you say no. This is different when you are getting used to hearing it just from the body. When the body says, gotta eat, must eat. This is where the fasting has its peak mental benefit, is sitting with the body and telling the body, listen here, we are going to be all right. This is going to get good as you shift production operation, right? You know, just you're telling the body, just wait for your ketones to activate. You'll be all right. It's that kind of thing. Mrs. Big Rob, I'm doing great, thank you. Triroji says, am I a ghost? You gotta tell me what you want me to believe that you mean by that. Because, what kind of answer are you hoping for? Are you looking for people that are going to roleplay with you and you have a whole shtick, or if I say no, I am not a ghost, then you're going to fucking respond with some funk? You're probably not even here. You're probably bored. You probably were bored. You probably left a long time ago. But there you go. I've acknowledged the thing you said. You're welcome. It's broken. It's always breaking. One of the biggest things there's been a trend for me lately. I don't know for anybody else who uses lighters, but lighters, a lot of my lighters they end up like glitching out, breaking. It makes me suspicious that maybe there's something wrong, like America's got very, very, very little manufacturing right now. And there's a lot of countries out there that they don't have the craftsmanship built into the engineering that we do. or they don't necessarily have the best quality materials that were, well, not that we do, but that we had, right? This is all past tense now, right? Mostly it was the boomer and the silent generation that were just like these, just all the little guys in the world that you've ever fucking known that were just like guys that did stuff, like guys that just knew how to like make stuff right, in basic senses of it, right? And then also those boomers had a big in between. My dad's an in between. My dad is not my grandfather in ability. I might be, in most regards, of more ability in things than my dad. My dad's probably good in ability with guns, like caring for guns and like doing little things with guns and how you fucking take them apart and assemble them and fix them and adjust them and clean them and all that stuff, right? We had a society that, by the time they were raising my generation quote X, right? I am part of the generation X of the various misfit variety. I also suffer from some of uh, the arrested development of many millennials too, because I'm such a late Xer. And so I'm part of a whole generation that refused to make conformist sacrifices, which I'm still doing, which is why I'm not working on a job site now. I wouldn't shave for the safety standards, right? I am still building the skill that I ought to have the economy that I ought to have in my personal life at my age. And that's going to take a long ass time because of the amount of time it takes to be in a position of the money to do, like, because that's also part and parcel of it. You've got to give the fucking guy on low wages needs to fucking be working solid. There has to be real fucking sustainable work that goes on long enough where they can bounce back from catch up. Like, for instance, all this time that I've suffered, it's going to take me weeks to catch up. Meaning that's going to start weeks before I'm saving again. This puts me in a position, I'm in a position where just being like that also means that bank loans are not going to come. I can't just fucking ask for a line of credit because I want to go get my license in a thing for work. And I have to pay for that, right? Trade schools are not going to fuck you over the way getting a university tuition's going to fuck you over. But dude, it's still fucking expensive. I've seen some of the prices on these trade schools. It's a lot. It's a fucking lot. And so it's that quest for the right stuff. It's the quest for the right situation that you have to find it. The time will come. This is why you learn what you can on the free resources. You got libraries and internets that can you know, you can up on certain knowledges. And I'm still kind of like, I haven't fully nailed down and looked at and said, yeah, electrical engineer, yeah, HVAC, shit, you know, yeah, plumbing, right? I haven't figured out, you know, which trade exactly is going to put me in the situation and space that I want to be. So anyway, yeah. And the last thing to say is like, as I was talking about reasons for the fast, it's like also I just looked at what day it was, and I said, you know what? It's the fucking, what's today? The 20th. Yeah, I was like, it's the 19th. If I do a 3-day fast now, my fast goes right into the winter solstice. This is a great time to do it. It's right after a new moon. So it's a great time to do it. It's right after the new moon, right on a winter solstice. Perfect time to fast. So if I run this longer than 3 days, I can fix my stomach and metabolism just ahead of Christmas. And then I can eat on Christmas, maybe Christmas Eve, I don't know. Because I will have to eat on, like, I'd have to eat sometime before Christmas Eve, so that way by Christmas Day my stomach can handle a full-blown meal with ham and turkey and shit. And you know, and then the other reason why this is good is because it also serves my diet, as I've been in a cut for a long time now, and it's been a very, very slow cut as I've just kind of been maintaining. And now I've lost 5 pounds since I've been maintaining for forever, and I intend on losing about 4 more pounds, and then I'll be at 170. And then I want to sit at 170 as I work on my abs, which is mostly just about grading down. Yeah, you know, it's hammering down what's left in my abs, which is probably going to require more vegetables. I need more veggies. All right, but I gotta have lots of meat too. I'll catch you guys later. Oh, who's this? Adam. Pull-ups are great for abs. I agree. I, for various reasons of physical setbacks, which were in fact related to my chiropractor. This is why I'm out. I'm going to my chiropractor now. My chiropractor issues, right? Like, I had to straighten out. I had strength leverage issues with my arms, and so when I was bulking, I somehow was not capable of increasing the strength of my arms. I don't know what it was, right? I'm doing much better now. I got ass loads of push-ups, and push-ups are also good for abs. And it's not that my abs are weak. My abs are actually strong. It's like for pull-ups, it's really what's going on. It's really just a whole lot of shit. I'm not really happy with the size of my arms because I put so much work into them, and it didn't pay off. And I was in the cut while getting my work done with this guy, right? So like, as I'm gonna hit 170, I'm gonna hold 170 for a hot minute, which will be not a cut or a bulk. And then when I'm a little bit happier with my gut, I'm going to start bulking. Weren't I the villain in Shrek? Aha. I see. Are you calling me a Farquaad? Are you calling me Bob Iger? Was it Bob Iger that Lord Farquaad was based on? A Shrek villain? What Shrek villain do I look like? I haven't watched the Shrek movies in forever. What do you mean by, like, what Shrek? Like, Farquaad was clean shaven. Who looked like me in Shrek? If I was a Shrek villain, I must have been one of the cool ones. If there was a cool one, the whole movie, movies like that are designed to have comic relief bad guys that it's funny to watch them lose. So are you saying that it would be funny to watch me lose? Is this your only way of responding to my anti-communist rant while I am intentionally starving myself for metaphysical, physiological, mental, and spiritual benefits? Is that what that is? Yeah. Chin ups. Chin ups are much better. Um, and I don't. I should probably do a couple of chin ups. I don't. Mostly because I think that when it comes to the pull up, you're most likely in a pull up situation that isn't for exercise when you're like climbing or something. Are you typically going to be climbing, scaling something like this, where you're grabbing it this way and climbing up, which, how would you do that? Your arms would be in the way of what you're, right? So you're like this because the thing is out in front of you, right? You can't climb like this except like maybe with like a rope or a rope ladder or something like that. All right. Well, anyway, those are all my points. Great time for fasting. I'll catch you guys later.